Welcome back to Open Line, talking with Press Secretary from Mayor Megan Barry's office. Sean Brasted is here, and talking all about Metro issues. Some good calls tonight. Appreciate the calls. Let's go to Joe. Hello, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hello?
Joe, yes.
Oh, gosh, I was just saying, we've had a sales tax here that's not deductible from your federal tax for years and years.
Okay.
And that seems to really harm the poor people. I mean, it's the year that they started deducting it, my youngest son out of 4 kids turned 18.
Mm-hmm.
And Demetria Calademus came on, and she said it saved the average family $2,200 a year.
Right.
Well, in 10 years, that's $22,000.
Right.
In 20 years, that's like $40-something thousand. And I know that I called him one time and talked to Fred Thompson, and he agreed with me. And he said, but we're not going to go back on it.
Right. That's an ongoing issue. And again, it's a federal issue.
But it harms our state, too, if it's not deductible.
Right.
And all that money that's sent out to the land of Oz, what I call the federal government, we'll never get it back.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe. Any discussion on that?
I can't really speak to that, to be honest with you.
But I appreciate that, Joe. Let's go to Louise. Hello, Louise.
Hello, this is Louise. I'm one of the angry ones in Nashville, but I understand because it's very simple. I'm a middle-class person, was a middle class, but I lost my job when Obama took over. They called us in a room and said that we're going to move all of our stuff to Mexico because they was not going to be able to pay the taxes.
Where did you work?
I don't want to really say where I work, but I was working in a warehouse making $13 an hour.
Okay.
Now, I went to another warehouse in Hollywood. They did the same thing. The problem is, and I get very upset because you're not giving the right information out. When they get up and they give the poll all these jobs we're getting and all that stuff, you're not giving the whole truth to it. And the middle-class people out there is reason we're angry, and we're not going to be for the Democrats because Democrats put us in this. I lost my home. They taxed my house. They put liens on it because I couldn't find a job full-time. Now, y'all get on there and say, oh, everybody's getting these jobs, but you're not telling everybody that they're not full-time jobs. They're part-time jobs. And when you take your check and you give back to the government to get these jobs to get you off of the employment thing, they're not telling you you're walking out and getting that little job because they make you take whatever.
Okay, all right, I understand what you're saying. You're saying it's not full-time work. That may fit into what you actually said earlier. 4% unemployment is what we see in Nashville, but a 19% poverty rate. The two don't mix.
Yeah.
So you have said that. We got a lot of calls about taxes, a lot of anger about taxes. Where do we stand? Where is Nashville? We're about to have a reappraisal, which won't raise the level of taxation, the money we bring in, but some people are going to see a tax increase.
Sure. I mean, I live in the 5th Council District, and I think, we're looking at probably one of the larger ones because of some of the growth and development. And it's going to be, whether taxes go up or down as a city in terms of the revenue for individuals, it could be painful. And that's one of the reasons why we try to promote the property tax freeze program for senior citizens. That's one of the reasons why we're focusing on affordable housing as a component and what we're focused on. In terms of outsourcing, I understand the frustration. I understand the frustration of losing your job. It's hard. I worked for a company that went under as well, and I was unemployed for about 6 months, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't difficult. It was difficult, and it's not easy. But stick with it. Sorry, Louise, about what you're going through, but hopefully something brighter will come along your way.
Let's talk about 3-year budgeting. This is a new concept that Mayor Berry has introduced. It used to be 1 year. You look at the budget for 1 year.
Yeah.
What's the situation?
So it's sort of a twofold thing that we're doing here with the budget. One is looking at 3-year budgeting. So it'll still be you give us your 1 year budget. That'll be sort of what you stick to. But we're asking departments and agencies to say, hey, give us your 3-year plan. What would you like to do if you could settle out for what you're going to do long term? What programs, what policies would you like to implement? How would that sort of flesh out? And so what we're trying to do is, or the mayor's trying to do, is get people to think a little bit more broadly about how they can better impact the lives of the residents of Davidson County. The other thing we're doing too is we're looking at not just doing the regular budget cycle where you say, I got this much last year, I need this much of an increase or this much of a decrease, a random number like 3%, say, hey, cut 3% or give us that cut, and more often than not, they're not asked to actually cut. So what the mayor asks us to do is to go back and to work together, to collaborate with different departments and agencies, to work with nonprofits and maybe even the private sector to say, how can we work together to actually create programs related to affordable housing, programs related to reducing youth violence, programs related to animal welfare, things like that. How can different departments and agencies and nonprofits work together? And so they've been asked to go out and sort of work and collaborate and come back during the budget hearing process and say, this is kind of our proposal, this is what we want to see, this is how much money it's going to cost. And so those are sort of two ways that we're doing the budget a little bit differently than it was done in the past, in a way to sort of spur new creative thinking within our departments and agencies.
Spur new creative thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Is it also to try and cut the size of government?
It is. We want to sort of spur efficiencies, and how can they be more innovative? Innovation can lead to efficiency, and say, how can we, reduce duplicative functions that are going on in different departments and agencies? How can we, reduce long-term spending? If we know that, a program is not going to work, how can we find an alternative program that may take 3 years to develop? So that's part of the 3-year budgeting process. That's part of the, creative, innovative, collaborative budget process that we're looking at. And so it's sort of working together in tandem to hopefully make government more efficient, but also, most importantly, more effective.
And will each department come before the mayor and the finance director and present a 1 year and then a 3 year?
Yeah, there will be a component of that, but really when it comes to the budget hearings, what we're looking at really is more for that sort of collaborative process where people come and say, hey, this is our new idea, this is what we want to pitch to you, and so that's kind of where we're focused on.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back right after this break, wrap everything up. Be back right after this.